Dave, these gentlemen know this, but I have an announcement to make. In fact, I thought about this. You know, what was it? Almost 2 years ago now, the pine straw incident occurred, and I had said,
didn't you mark the date?
August. It was August 3rd.
Okay, you save it in your phone.
Yeah, well, yes, it was August 3rd of 22, and that was that. If you missed that, I was scammed out of thousands of dollars by a very crafty criminal named Jaquantavius, who came to me and said, I have pine straw to sell. Extra pine straw.
Would you like some? And you said yes.
I said yes. Even against my wife's, her knowledge was correct. She said, don't do this. Don't
Paid
do
by
this.
the string.
Paid by the string. Was a lot of string out there, too.
Yeah, a lot. Every bale has this. Every bale has its string.
Fact. That's a fact. And Jaquantavius at the end was like covered in twine. He was like, look at all this string. Oh, my God.
Guinness was going to come cover.
My God.
This is the biggest ball of string ever.
I've never seen anything like this. Yes. So I wound up paying $4,000 for pine straw. And that was after negotiation.
You talked him down.
I talked him down from $7,000. And I remember saying on our air that day, this is a day that has changed. Everything will change from this day forward. I'll remember this day. You know, there's 10 days you're in your career you remember. And that was certainly one of them. And Biggie agreed. He was like, oh, yeah. That's the end of that one. Yesterday was a day. I should have said this earlier. I remember this. I will remember this. And Dave, you don't know it.
Okay.
But here it is. Yesterday, last night, in fact, around 8 o'clock, I totaled the Acura.
What?
Yeah, I've sent pictures. Biggie's going to put the pictures online, but I'm going to send these pictures to you now, Dave.
Well, now, are you okay? Were you in it?
Oh yeah. I am okay, but it was a pretty scary. It was a pretty scary wreck.
Did the airbag?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Does it have an airbag?
Okay.
Did the word "glad" appear in front of your eyes?
Okay.
Or was it just a sign that came out that says, you don't have an airbag?
Right.
Sorry.
Like a gun that just says, bang.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Little flag.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to show. I can't, for whatever reason, it's not letting me.
So what happened? Or can you not say?
No, I can say. I can say. Let me show you the picture of it. Everybody else has seen the picture. But
Okay.
This is the Acura last night on. You can flip through. There's like 4 pictures there. But as you can see, It was really messed up last night. I know. It was terrible.
You posed.
I posed for
You did
photograph.
not.
Well, my wife.
Was she with you?
No.
Or was this after?
No, I'll tell you what happened.
Okay, please. I know where this is.
Oh, I know you exactly. Yeah, you know exactly where it is. Now, we live in Greensboro, North Carolina, and there's a major roadway here, Battleground Avenue.
Yeah.
And so last night, I did what I usually do. I played pickleball. Okay. So the Diesel, my dear friend, as I'm leaving about 7:45, said, "Can you get one more game in?" And I said, "No, I've got to go. I've got to go." And so I left, and I'm on the way home, and I'm going up Battleground Avenue. I would say 45 miles per hour, and I'm approaching New Garden Road, which is another pretty major thoroughfare here.
I had some help.
Blasting through the
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I love that.
I mean, right
Battleground.
after, what a high for you, right after pickle. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I had some help.
Oh, I know. I had it going, man. Oh, my God.
I had some help. It ain't like I can make this kind of mess all by myself. Don't act like you ain't helped me.
driving with one hand, waving to the girl.
Oh, just waving. Woo!
That was nice evening.
What a good time. Oh, beautiful. Beautifully. And it's 7:45. Like, okay, good. I'm home fairly early.
Still daylight.
Still light.
Still daylight. So I'm approaching New Garden Road, and pretty heavy traffic, I would say. Heavy enough. Moving smoothly, though. And I was behind a Honda Accord, and I'll tell you, it was almost in slow motion. We were approaching that light at New Garden Road, and in fact, right in the middle of the intersection, and I saw him hit a car. It turns out that car, a Toyota, had turned in front of him, a left-hand turn, at that. It's a blinking yellow light.
Yeah, yeah.
So the guy who turned in front of him did not yield properly to oncoming traffic. We had the green light. I mean, there was no slowing down. We were just going fast. And I literally had about 1 second to this thought. The guy I was behind hit the car that had turned, and they both went sideways. And I thought, ooh, that's a bad accident. And right then I slammed on brakes, and I thought, I'm going to be in this accident. Because the car that had turned in front of him went spinning, and I plowed into the side of his car. I mean, and it was major impact.
I had some help.
The death rattle.
Oh, God. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that car's 27 years old.
I know it.
And the airbag deployed.
This is the first airbag or the second airbag on that car?
This is the first. I've never had an accident in that car. This
Well,
is,
sometimes they replace the steering wheel.
yeah. This is the first. This is the original airbag. And once the airbags are out, the car's totaled, right? I think that's it.
That's what I've heard. They can't get them. They usually can't get them back.
Well,
in.
airbags deployed in all 3 vehicles. I mean, by the time,
bet.
oh yeah, it was really scary. Car crashes are scary.
Well, at that speed for sure.
Oh yes, and that's the third car I've totaled. None of which have been my fault. You know, the
Even
one
in major accidents.
Yes, the one out on I-40, which is right before I bought the Acura. That's why I bought it. That's the one I went spinning.
Golf clubs and shoes.
Golf clubs. Remember the golf clubs came out and the shoes came out, and the woman came running up. This is 25 years ago. And she said, "Oh my God, you've lost your feet."
Yeah, she thought feet
She
were still
thought
in
my
the
feet.
shoes.
She thought my
No.
feet had chopped off.
Have I? No.
I'm walking.
So I'm okay here. Then, of course, the sperm incident where I was carrying my own sperm.
Yeah, that town's still reeling from that.
I know that. And this one was similar to that because I had 0 time to react, slammed on the brakes, and then hit the other car, right in front of it, broadside. Like it had turned, it had flipped.
Yeah.
And you know what was interesting? And my son asked me about it later. Now then, when the airbags deployed, smoke filled the car.
Yeah.
So I had a hard time breathing because I think it was like smoke from the airbag. You know how old those airbags
Yeah.
are. It was like you could see it, you know, it was like flour or something hanging in the air.
Yeah, 25, 26-year-old smoke.
Yes.
Dust.
Smoke. And I couldn't get out because my driver's side was wedged up against one of the other cars. And I looked over, and in the other car was a guy, his wife, and 4 kids.
Oh.
And they were screaming. I mean, the wife was screaming. The kids were screaming. And I rolled down my window, and, you know, I had to... because the woman now was starting to get out of her car through the window because she couldn't open the door. She was starting to come out through the window. And then I had the thought, am I going to get hit again from behind?
Yeah,
Because I was like, okay, because I'm in there like 30 seconds now. Like, okay, is everything okay? And interestingly, my son asked me this. The radio kept on playing.
I had some help. It ain't like I can make this kind of mess all by myself.
Yeah.
And as she's getting out, I'm saying, I rolled down my window and said, "Are you all right? Are you all right?" She couldn't even speak. I mean, she was just disoriented. And she was, by the way, that car was the original. They were not at fault. I was
That was
behind
the car
them.
that was in front of
The
you.
car was in
Them.
front of me. Yeah. So she gets out, and then I didn't know how to get out. I had to crawl across to the passenger side and get out because there was an area over there. And the third car, the car that caused the accident, was over there. It was a Toyota over to my right, and it was smashed. I mean, it was smashed up. And they had trouble getting them out of the car. Very scary.
How long before first responders arrived?
I would say about 7 or 8 minutes because I got out and sat on the grass. We all did. I was shaking. I mean, I really was. It was that is a scary, scary thing.
All right, I'm assuming no insurance. Who's got a white car? No insurance.
No
am I
insurance,
right?
right?
I'm assuming at fault, no insurance, and I'm betting your license is expired.
No. Which one of you lives in the white car?
That's
I'm guessing,
right.
I don't see. He must have run from the scene.
Yeah.
I don't see somebody that would drive a car
That
like
was
this.
really untoward. Exactly. They kept on saying, "Well, obviously you're the one at fault," and you know, you're exactly what Biggie just said. So the paramedics arrive, and they say to everybody, "Are you all right?" And now the woman and like a couple of her kids went to the hospital because they were so shaken up by it. And the driver of the ambulance said, "I can't take all these kids." And she goes, "I want me and my 4 kids to go to the hospital. My husband will stay here." And the woman said, "I can't take all 4 kids. You got to choose." So she chose 2 of the kids.
Right there on the road.
Right there on the road. Yeah, she chose. So it was a woman and 2 kids went in the ambulance. They left.
The younger ones, I would guess.
Yes, but
Yeah.
they're all young. I would say 11 to 4. You know, and so the dad stayed behind. And poor little girl who was about 6. She was wearing rollerblades and she was crying.
Of course she
It
was.
was terrible. And the dad stayed behind. Now, listen, the dad came over to me. Now, it was not his fault. The 2 that were at fault sort of got off to the side. I didn't talk to them. And the guy came over to me and he goes, "I have a dash cam. And so if you need this for your insurance," and he's like, "Here's my information. I have a dash cam."
how about
Smart
that?
man.
That's smart.
Yeah.
I thought, I didn't even think about that, you know. So I had called my wife and she didn't answer. And so I texted her, I've been in an accident, but I'm okay, and you're going to need to get here because I'm going to need some help.
I need some help.
I need
I need a ride.
I need some help. I need some help. Won't need a ride, right? And she called me back 5 minutes later. She goes, I've had this phone in my hand for 4 hours. I went to the toilet for 2 minutes. And
You called.
And you called and had an accident. So they came up. Now, of course, everybody's shaky, as you can imagine.
How
Now,
bad is traffic at this point?
terrible. Backed up.
Yeah, that's a
now.
busy road.
Very, very busy. They walled it off with cones and everything. And then the
Look, another unlicensed driver. You can tell. You can tell by the car. That white car is
Yeah,
definitely.
you can always tell who's at fault.
a lot of rubberneckers coming through there. Oh yeah,
There's the guy.
this guy's at fault.
Love the show.
Yeah. Thanks. There was a lot. Yeah. So anyhow, the paramedics get there, check everybody out, and I say, "Well, are the police going to come?" And they said, "Oh yeah, they're going to come, but it's going to take them a while. They're so understaffed. It'll take them." And it took 15 minutes for the cops to get there. Interestingly, we have that app where my wife follows me all the time.
Yeah.
And we can follow each other. It called 911. That app. It's called Life 360.
It does it.
And my wife said when she got there, she goes, "You realize the Life 360 texted me right after you did, and it said we're calling 911. We think Chris has been in an accident because of the impact, and of course the phone was in the car.
It works.
The rear view mirror blew off and went past me. The inside rear view mirror.
Were belongings everywhere?
Oh God! The pickleballs that flew up, and then
It looked like the lottery.
There's no numbers on these balls.
Somebody
It looked like
bouncing
the
balls.
Powerball.
can't even tell you. And when the tow truck driver got there and the paramedics, they were like, "Clean out your car, sir." And we opened the door, and all the stuff that was in that car,
Yeah.
you can imagine. The French
I
fries.
get it, man. I'm divorced too.
It'll be all right, buddy.
Let me hook her up for you.
You'll find someone.
Now it's $200 to tow it, or $150 if you just want me to drop it now.
That's more than it's worth.
Well, now, let's get to the crux of that because my insurance agent is the diesel, okay? So my wife and son get there.
But
and
he didn't answer his phone either.
Well, she said, "I'm going to text the diesel just to tell him what's coming, tomorrow and whatnot." And I said, "Well, I know where he is now. He's over at Chick-fil-A." I said, "He's at Chick-fil-A.
Right around the bend.
Which is right
there.
around the
Yeah.
corner. It's right there.
Yeah.
He's eating inside because he doesn't drive through.
That's what I said.
You've still got time to catch him.
I said, "You can text him. He is I guarantee he's at Chick-fil-A. And he might not text you back." So she texts him, and about 5 minutes later, I said, "Has he texted you back?" And she said, "No." And right as she said that, I saw his shadow coming over the hill with a bag, a to-go
That's my
bag.
best friend.
I said, "That's my friend." I said, "That's my best good friend and pickleball partner."
Nobody talk to nobody.
That's right.
You're like the two kids from Superbad when they're drunk at the end, carrying each other.
That's right.
I love you.
I love you too.
Did his Apple phone go off too?
Yeah, he knew. He knew it's like a bat signal.
Yeah.
And he came running up and said, "Don't say a word, don't say a word." And he gets there and advises me on everything, and he comes up and tells me exactly what's going to happen. So then, after all the dust is settled, now we were there about an hour. The cops came, they take everybody's information.
Yeah.
Get a printout. They have to tow the stuff away.
Did they bring blankets and cocoa?
They brought all of that for
Those
us.
silver
We
blankets?
covered up. We huddled there.
Aluminum
together.
foil?
Yes, exactly. And then Diesel said, now all three of us were insured, which was surprising to me. Like you were saying.
That is shocking.
So I've got a printout now of everybody's insurance, and he circled.
It's a parlay.
Correct. Yeah, we hit a parlay last night. And the police officer said, this is the person at fault. He's been ticketed for failing to yield at a yellow light. So he circled. So he's like, "You'll call them tomorrow, and here's their policy number, and they'll be the ones to take care of this." And so he walks away, and I say to the Diesel, "Let's play Price is Right here. What's the check on this? How much am I going to get out of this?"
I want you to take a look at this. It's a hunk of metal.
Apparently, I didn't see this, but right as they were hooking her up, as you said, the bumper just fell off. So they had to go and reposition it and tie it back onto the vehicle. It was really so sad. That's my heart and soul. That's my DNA. That's my blood.
Yeah.
But look, she protected you till the end.
She did. She really
Yeah.
did. That vehicle's a member of our family, I said. And I said, to the A train. I said, maybe we can get her fixed. And she's like, oh, no.
I would appreciate it if you quit smiling. At least until the other accident folks have left.
They've left, gone. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they're sweeping up my Acura.
Yeah.
They're literally
Well, I haven't loaded the video yet. But
Oh.
she does commentary, and it's basically, I'll sum it up. Oh no.
She's scanning Carfax right there on the side of the road.
Yeah. She pulls out a 9mm and shoots it like a horse.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to accuse
It's
her of
finished.
anything, but I'm just saying, once she heard everyone's okay,
Yes.
kind of Grinch smile came
Yeah.
on her face.
Yeah. I bet she's having pancakes for breakfast.
I couldn't believe it. That act has been with me 27 years, Dave.
I'm sorry, Kels.
Oh,
I don't know what to tell you. I'm glad you're good. I'm glad you're
Yeah.
all right. That's
Yeah,
you
are
know.
you sore? You're
Yes.
always sore the next day.
My back is sore. And by the way, the driver who was not at fault, after we'd been there about a half hour, the ambulance had left. He came to me and said, can you call me an ambulance? And I said, well, one already left. He goes, yeah, but my back's really hurting now. He said, my back and neck is really hurting. So we did.
I'm sure.
Another.
Yeah, your adrenaline at
It
first
must-
keeps you
Correct.
going.
And they told us all that. You know what really hurt on me? Not bad, but the airbag like burned my arm. It's like
I've
I
heard
have
that can happen
I have like a burning sensation on
when
my
they
arm.
release.
Correct. And so everybody got done. So I said to the diesel, let's play a little Price is Right now. I said, am I going to get 4 figures out of this bad boy? And he goes, oh, no.
Come on.
No. Lower. And I said 500, and he goes, I couldn't even really hazard a guess at this point. So we'll see what the paycheck. And he gave me some advice when I talked to the insurance.
If you get $1,000, feel lucky.
I don't feel like I'll get 1,000 out of that. Do you?
No, you probably came out of that thing best.
I think you're probably right. It's unfortunate, and I just had
You
new
didn't
brakes.
lose the most money.
No, golly.
I think we should do what they do with NASCAR cars that get wrecked. I think we should sell it off piece by piece.
Yes. Here's my.
We get the what we can. We get the fender.
Yeah, and we get whatever we
Yeah,
can out
we
of
get
it.
the hood.
He said they'll sell
Quarter
it.
panel?
He said
Quarter
that's
panel.
what.
We'll get you to sign it.
They're not going to cube it.
Well, the diesel says they'll start selling off pieces of it like that. They'll sell. They'll take it to a salvage.
Well, the
yard.
front took all the impact.
Oh yes. And by the way, it did what it was supposed to do. The engine completely dropped. And that seatbelt. Let me say this: wear your seatbelt because I never even. I mean, I was still sitting in that car, and you know what? I didn't have any shoes on.
Oh,
I know. I told
It's not like you.
never, but my feet hurt after I played pickleball.
my feet hurt.
My feet hurt. And I was at an intersection, 2 miles earlier, stopped at a red light, and I just kicked off my shoes and put them over in the passenger area. And so when I was crawling out of that car with all the glass and I had no shoes on.
Took your shoes off at Total Wine.
You're like John McClane.
God, yeah.
That's right there at Total Wine. Took my shoes off. That's exactly right. Dave knows. Dave knows the
He
area.
knows the road.
Well, if you were going, that's the speed limit there.
45.
People don't know it, and
Yeah.
I always used to get pissed off, and maybe I shouldn't now.
Yeah.
But when you go along that stretch, people always go slow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're doing 35. I'm like, it's 45.
It is
for you.
45. Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's a stretch there until you get to that very busy intersection.
yes,
By the Walmart.
that's right.
Yeah.
And 45 is what I was doing.
What a great night, just shoeless singing Shabuzi. And it's ruined.
Totally.
Everybody at the bar getting
I
tipsy.
know. Scott, you have a comment on Rex. Go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, glad to know you're okay.
Thank
So
you.
my wife and I were in a similar wreck, very serious. We were okay, but the car was totaled. So we come back to Laurinburg. 3 days later, my car shows up on the rollback.
Mhm.
Somebody turned on the ignition, and my car called 911 3
3
days
days
later.
later. Wow.
Oh, no.
The
Only
te-
one person came back 3 days
I'm
later
like-
from the dead.
That's right.
I know, right? So I'm
Yes.
looking at my phone. Who is this? So I answered, and they said, well, this is the emergency services. How can we help? I said, I was in a wreck 3 days ago. My Ford Escape has called you from who knows where.
That is crazy.
From beyond.
That is crazy.
Never heard of that.
Me neither. From beyond the grave.
Yeah.
The Ford has called. That's the technology now. You just don't
I was
know.
in a wreck 3 days ago. Do you need water and food? No, I'm home.
Been home.
Thank you, Scott.
Crazy.
That's interesting too. Yeah.
Technology, baby. I love technology.
And you know what? That very day, my son told me, and I was going to even tell you all this. He said he was on Google Maps earlier that day. He told me way before the wreck. He was on Google Maps, and he went back, and you know how Google Maps will take a picture of a place, and he Googled the radio station here, and he saw from 2023 the parking lot with my vehicle in one spot. And then he's like, so I went back to 2019, and there's my vehicle. And he goes, I went back to 2015 to 2013. He goes, 2007, that vehicle was sitting in the same spot.
Still there.
Yeah.
And he's like, Dad, what is up? And I was like, yeah. That's where it sits.
Well, you know,
that was the last day it sat there.
a lot of times when somebody famous passes away, for instance, John Lennon, there you will see a shrine around, like in Strawberry Fields in New York.
Yes.
The people put flowers and pictures and candles and things of that nature. I think we should do the same with the oil slick that your Acura
I do too.
left in the parking lot. I think we should retire that space.
No more parking in that
no
space.
one should be able to park in that space.
I completely
You
agree.
should at least block it off for a week.
I completely agree.
Out of respect.
Out of respect. And then put flowers in. This song,
Oh yeah, I picture you just shoeless.
jamming along, shoeless and singing.
Summer nights.
And then out of nowhere. Thank goodness everything's okay.